Like this video and subscribe to our channel, or else your car will get a flat tire every time you are in a hurry, unless you want that. It's fair to say that most people, if they were given $1 billion to spend on whatever they want, would buy themselves an insanely expensive sports car. Since Carl Benz invented it back in 1886 and Henry Ford revolutionized it for the modern age in 1908, the car has always been a way for the rich and powerful to flaunt their fortune to the world. One way to do this is to own as many cars as possible, which is why we'll be taking a look at the most expensive car collection in the world. You won't believe just how many cars we're going to be covering in this video, so stick around to the end to find out. Who owns the collection? The most expensive car collection in the world is owned by Hassanal Bolkiah, otherwise known as the 29th Sultan of Brunei. He has been the ruler of Brunei since his father's abdication in 1967. He's also one of the very last absolute monarchs in the world, meaning that he's one of the only monarchs left with uncontested power within the government. But I suppose, in case people don't quite get the memo, the Sultan also appointed himself as his own Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Minister of Defense, and Minister of Foreign Affairs. His word is the law. The Sultan is also one of the wealthiest people on the planet, with a net worth of $30 billion. He might be the second longest reigning monarch in the world after Queen Elizabeth II, but at least he's 50 times richer than she is. So with a net worth of $30 billion, spending millions of dollars on a collection of supercars doesn't seem like such a splurge of cash. For most of us, that would be unthinkable, but for someone like the Sultan, it's a minor dent in his bank account. However, the exact nature of the collection remains a mystery to this day. The Sultan has been keen to keep the collection under wraps, so we have no solid information as to how many cars there are or exactly how much they're worth altogether. All we can glean insight from is first-hand accounts of people who have bought cars from the Sultan or have seen the collection with their own eyes. We sure wish we would have been in their shoes. Which cars does he own? One thing we know for sure about the Sultan's collection is that it has 20 Koenigseggs, more than 600 models of Rolls-Royce, 450 different types of Ferraris, and over 380 Bentleys. Owning well over 1,000 cars would be enough to impress anyone, but with the Sultan, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It would be pretty dull if we just listed every single kind of car in the collection, so let's instead pick out some exquisite examples just to give you a flavor of the magnitude of this collection. For instance, the Sultan is the lucky owner of the Aston Martin V8 Vantage Special Series. No, not just one car, the whole series. Aston Martin only produced 3 cars in this design specifically for the Sultan and his brother Prince Geoffrey. That kind of treatment from Aston Martin would make James Bond feel jealous. Speaking of rare cars, the Sultan is also the owner of one of 2 Koenigsegg CCXR Trevitas in the whole world, the other owner being Floyd Mayweather. The Sultan reportedly paid just over $1 million to have a second model made for him, which in hindsight saved him a lot of money. The Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita now goes for close to $5 million. Obviously, if you're as rich as the Sultan of Brunei, you don't just want sports cars in your collection. You might become something of an antique collector. That explains his buying of a 1934 Rolls-Royce Phantom II Continental. This specific model was also known as the Star of India because it was the car used to drive the Maharajas of India. At the time of the auction, it became the most expensive car ever sold at auction, with the Sultan paying $14 million. He could have had 13 more Koenigseggs made with that money. Of course, we couldn't have a video about a billionaire's spending habits and not bring up something made entirely out of gold. Fortunately, the Sultan has not one, but 2 separate cars with a gold color scheme. The first is a Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG, a pretty amazing car in its own right, but when you cover it in 24-karat gold plating, then you get something really special. I'd hate to be the person that scratches that car. The second is the ironically named Rolls-Royce Silver Spur 2. This is the car the Sultan rode in on his wedding day, so of course it has a special place in his heart. But being the Sultan, any old Rolls-Royce won't do. So he decided to have this Silver Spur stretch limo plated entirely in 24-karat gold. Now this car is worth $14 million. So if you ever want to use it at your own wedding, then you'll need to bring your checkbook. Where's the collection now? As we said before, nothing about the collection can be truly verified since the Sultan likes to keep a tight lid on his private life. What we do know is that not all of the cars are explicitly his. The cars are all bought and shared between the Brunei royal family, such as his brothers and nephews. One brother, Prince Geoffrey, was Brunei's Minister of Finance until 1997, when it was discovered he was spending $14.8 billion of government money. Most of this was spent on supporting his 5 wives and a harem of 40 women, who were housed in a palace near the car collection, A lot of this money also went into buying new cars, such as $475 million spent on Rolls Royces. If I were a tax-paying citizen of Brunei, I wouldn't be so happy, but at least Prince Jeffrey has good taste. When the Brunei government sued Prince Jeffrey for his outlandish spending habits, he had to pay them back by giving away thousands of his cars, 5 yachts, and 9 world-class aircrafts. Jeffrey sure liked to travel. Since then, the car collection has sadly been left to gather dust, and some sources have claimed that some of the cars are no longer even drivable because of the conditions they have been kept in. A lot of the collection resides in 8 two-story buildings near the coast of Brunei, and these buildings house the cars either underground or on levels with a lot of glass windows. In a room with a lot of windows and almost 24-hour stream of blazing sunlight, many of the cars have naturally degraded in the heat over their 20-year stay at the complex. It has gotten to the point where many of these cars aren't even sellable, even if someone wanted to buy them. Seats have rotted, paint on the cars has degraded, and because the cars haven't been used in so long, chances are the engines wouldn't respond if you turn the key in the ignition. It's been suggested that up to 2,000 cars are in this dire condition. So you're probably asking, why keep so many cars if some of them aren't even worth a nickel anymore? The idea to turn the car collection into a tourist attraction has been floated about, but according to insiders, both the royal family and the Brunei government have said that doing so would be politically embarrassing. I guess showing off to the world what your leader has been spending taxpayer money on isn't the best idea. At the time, many of these cars are in no condition to be sold, so that's not an option either. And the cars that can be sold aren't ones you would want to get rid of in a hurry. If you had just one of 2 Koenigsegg CCXRs in the world, you'd surely want to go full throttle down a speedway, not sell it. What exactly will happen to this collection? Who knows? Maybe in time, the Sultan will put some money into restoring some of the more decrepit cars, or at the very least, keep them somewhere where they aren't likely to get sunburned. So, which car was your favorite in the collection? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And remember, you always have a choice. Choose luxury anytime.